why would you even want to send a video in the first place? Alice, can you mind just telling me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we actually have some independent studies that show that if you have only video in your tagline or your subject line of an email, you're actually going to get a 16% increase in open rates. If you have a video in your email, 26% uplift in reply rates. So again, we know that right now, actually, since the shift to remote work, text-based emails rose by 200%, but reply rates dropped by 30%. And actually, I think a lot of people, there's a misconception that like, oh, high-level execs get videos all the time. I'm on LinkedIn all the time, and I see that's not the case. Actually, one of our old sales evangelists recently posted, they're like, I'm a C-level executive and I'm not getting videos at Vidyard. Who do I need to send like a contact to? So just goes to show there is a misconception that videos totally saturated the market. That's not true. Shoot your shot, send those videos, and Adrian actually has some stats or some points to share here too.
Yeah, and I want to, sorry, Adrian, I get excited about this how and why one, just because I'm a big fan of video. First thing, why is because very similar to what Alice said, definitely agree with that. But then also when we think about prospecting specifically, we have to have a multi-channel approach. And what's happening is our prospects are getting hit up by email and phone all day, every day, right? Video is just that difference maker. It's so different. It showcases personality. And when you think about how, there's always nerves. Everybody has nerves going into it. I've talked about it enough, right? You look at bullet point number 1 here. It's all about starting with 1. You get that 1 down in the books and it all becomes smooth sailing. Like you just get into it. It becomes fun. It becomes regular, but you've got to make it part of your habit because again, with prospecting, I see people posting in the chat, a multi-channel approach is the key to effective prospecting.
I think as sales reps, across the board, a lot of people, again, are using the omni-channel approach, using a bunch of different kind of ways to outreach and do all that good stuff. But I like to think of it from a phone approach. If you're doing any cold calling, if you are doing anything along those lines where you have to quickly pitch, and that's kind of like your one-liner, you have 30 seconds and that's all you have on the phone. Very similar in video. And I kind of like to throw that out there as a piece of advice for getting started in terms of referring to a script of sorts. What do you say when you pick up the phone and give someone a call? It's that 30 seconds that you have. You need to get the value prop, who, what, why, all that good stuff. So I think that that's definitely an easy way to kind of build out that script for yourself.
I love that.
I think like Gabrielle mentioned, obviously the first time is daunting, but it's like anything else. The more that you repeat it, the better you'll get at it. And I think obviously when you're first starting, maybe you want to review the video once or twice, but you'll get into a rhythm where you're just like, even if you say an or an ah, or you stumble over words, I think the biggest thing here is the point of video is to be personalized. It is to be human. People don't want to interact with bots. They want to see a real person behind that screen. So it's totally okay if you stumble over a word or say an or an ah here. People actually appreciate that because they're realizing I'm talking to a real person and this person made this video just for me.
And on that note, how we always talk about how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we get into it? Right? Practice with your peers, right? If you have an organization with, 25 SDRs or AE peers, practice videos with them. I mean, that's just the best way to get it going, right? Give each other feedback, see how it's working. And I'll be very honest with you people. I'm going to give you my contact information at the end of this webinar. You can send me a video and I'm happy to provide feedback. It's just a matter of getting it going. And it's also not about perfection, which we'll keep talking about.
Well, we teed me up perfectly for that one. So I generally, my first approach is obviously a little bit more professional. Here at Vidyard, we like to get, maybe we'll have a little whiteboard or an app that shows the name. But what I do when I'm trying to kind of get a prospect's attention after the second touch, I actually have a video of myself doing a cartwheel. So I will just pull that up now, show you how you can get a little bit sillier. And honestly, this gets a ton of replies because people are just like, haha, this is clever.
Hey there, Alice here from Vidyard. Just wanted to circle back literally on the video that I sent you not too long ago. Curious if you had a chance to check it out and if you had any thoughts, and would love to hear some feedback from you, whether it's a yes or a no, interested or not interested. Either way, would love to hear your thoughts and hope to chat soon.
So super simple, but a lot of people, even they just see GIF, sometimes they don't even watch the video, but they're like, love this, you circled back literally, and it gets clicks, it gets replies, and it gets meetings booked, so it's effective.
How many renditions did you have to do? How many cartwheels did you have to run until you got that snippet down?
Honestly, quite a few. The first one I realized I should probably tuck my shirt in because that's not super professional when that falls up. And then there's one where I almost stepped on my cat. But even there's one in that video, I don't know if you noticed, my cat like is running into my room, and someone was even like, I like the outreach, but your cat clearly didn't. So like people even have fun with the responses too. So as Gabrielle mentioned, I think like 30 to 50 seconds, 45 seconds being kind of the sweet spot. A colleague of mine who works in EMEA actually posted something really interesting the other day, though. I think if you're being really personalized about their problem and really like showing personalized stats, you can go over. So generally my marketing videos are actually about 1:30 because I go into their YouTube channel. I talk about specific conversion rates that they could see. And I think that holds the attention. But if you're doing kind of more of a general pitch about like what an SDR manager generally would care about, and here's XYZ competitor, 45 seconds is probably like rule of thumb, the best place to be.
Yeah, I think you absolutely nailed that on the head in regards to like the maybe first touch prospecting email too. I think that that's definitely like 45 seconds is that mark. I think as well, when you have people throughout the sales cycle, that's when you can start to kind of get a little bit more nitty gritty into what the length of the video is. So for us, at least, our customer stories are actually about 2 minutes long, but that's because it's about halfway through the sequence. They're engaging with our stuff, and we want to send that content to really drive those next steps and to drive that value for them. And then as well, we haven't really talked a little bit about it yet, but on the other side of prospecting, it's like video throughout the sales cycle. Naturally, proposal videos can be about 1 minute to 2 minutes is typically where we see success. And other kind of ways of like following up, meeting recaps, demo recaps, all that good stuff. You can get a little bit more granular with how long the video is.
What do you use in your subject line when you're sending a video? And we have two different, I mean, there's two different use cases here, email, LinkedIn as well. So I'm curious to hear as well from you guys what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think as Alice mentioned earlier on, getting the open is probably the main thing, right? So as she mentioned, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, a 68% increase in email opens when you use video. There's the word video in some part of the subject line.
Wow.
So video for sure. For me, myself, it may be, hey, I made this video for you, name. Right from there, it's like, okay, someone made me a video. Like I have to click on this email, at least click on the video, like see kind of what's up. So from there, definitely using video. There's different approaches as well. It may be like how video can XYZ for your company, for Vidyard specifically. But yeah, definitely using Vidyard, keeping it short, and then also maybe driving that pain point that we mentioned earlier or anything like that.
Love that. So the key word here is video in the subject line. I know, for instance, when I, with LinkedIn, I don't actually have, there's no subject line that I actually use, because if you look with LinkedIn, your name and your title and your company name is already there. So I'll usually just say something very similar where I'm like, hey, made you a quick video.
Yeah. And
sometimes I may even be specific. Hey, made you a quick 45-second video or 30, because again, there's, we always talk about time. And everybody, the common question here is how much time, right? Time is a precious resource.
Yeah.
People don't want to give away time. People don't want to invest that time. So when you've got to really, really maximize your time going in there, you got to pack it with a punch, right? So again, being very mindful of that. And so that again goes back to what are you saying in the video? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And one thing that I always use, I'm like, this will take less than 60 seconds out of your busy day, I promise. And then keeping to that promise. Because I think just highlighting, hey, you have 60 seconds. I know you do. You've already opened this email. Just check out the video. And if it didn't interest you, then ciao, ciao.